Yeah, we want to start with our team coverage today with NBC Charlotte's Fred Shropshire. Fred, you're out in Jacksonville, North Carolina. This is where you grew up.
Yeah, and you've been around your old home, your high school, and a lot of other places that are familiar to you. So how's it looking there?
Oh, this is pretty much still a waterlogged community, Jacksonville, North Carolina. Not an unmotivated visit for me at all. This is the first time that I've been here and the first time that my parents have returned since they were ordered to evacuate. But as you say, 1,100 road closures throughout the state. I must have encountered at least a dozen just to get here. It took us an extra 45 minutes just to get here on top of the 4.5 hours that it would normally take us to drive from Charlotte. But there are still a lot of people, hundreds without power. The street that I'm on right now, Shoreline Drive, everyone is without power. There are watermarks that are chest high. You can tell where all of the flooding is. Behind me, the New River washing over, and you're seeing that kind of damage throughout the city. I want to take you, though, to where I grew up, my home in the northeast part of the city, about 15 minutes from where I'm standing right now. This is where my mom and dad have lived for about 30 years, the home that I grew up in. And I have to tell you, they were very fortunate. When we got there, we noticed that the yard, my mom described it as a jungle because there was so much branches and trees strewn about, the decorations for landscaping, the decor broken apart, put in different places, and you could see where the water had come up, but the water did not come up to the house. The water did come up to the property line, more so than it would in previous storms. But you have to keep in mind, my parents have lived in this house for almost 30 years, and this is the first time of all of the named storms that they've evacuated in that time. Listen.
From 1985, this is the first time that we have ever left.
But that's because they required it. This is the first time they required us to leave, everybody to evacuate. Out of all the storms we had, this is the one that they asked everybody to evacuate.
Yeah, Gene and Kenneth Shropshire, my mom and dad, that was a little exchange between them actually, because my mom wanted to evacuate. My dad did not want to evacuate, but they did evacuate, and I'm fortunate and I'm glad that there were no injuries. As far as their house, as far as the potential damage, a few shingles out of place. Other than that, no damage to their home. It's amazing. There were trees up in the house. My parents, my dad planted trees for each family member, his grandkids included. None of those trees touched. Coming up at 11 o'clock, we'll have a full report on that. But we will be here throughout the evening giving you exclusive coverage here in my hometown, the damage that we are seeing. People are still recovering. Bill?